Well, hello. Today I'm going to be working on the Honda CBR 600 F3. I'm going to be installing the carbs, connecting all the hoses, and maybe she'll start, hopefully. So I just want to put out a couple of for your informations. So I'm going to have you direct your attention to the carburetor proper itself. And I've been consulting this 1996-95 Honda service manual for some tidbits on carb cleaning and general knowledge of how this thing works. So what I'm going to have you pay attention to is the band screws, which they talk about on the cylinder head side. When it came to take the carburetor off from the intake, you have to unloosen these band screws on the intake side or cylinder head side. So I use this really long screwdriver. So I'm going to get for you. Super long screwdriver right here. Bought it at Harbor Freight. I think it's like 17 inches long. Pretty much when you stick it in, you're going at an angle here, 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 and here. So if you want to orientate, this is the throttle position sensor right here. Cylinder 1, cylinder 1, cylinder 2, cylinder 3, and cylinder 4. And all you have to do is just, like I said, stick that screwdriver in here like I just directed. And it might be helpful if you take off the right side hanger plate, which is on the right side of your bike. And in the manual, this is what it would look like as I just depicted here. It's depicted in the manual with the band screws themselves. It was not necessary at all for me to unscrew these to remove the carburetor from the intake manifold. It was not necessary at all. I did, upon cleaning the carburetor, loosen them all up and clean them, and I used WD-40 and trying to see if it would soften up when I put this thing back on, the carburetor back on there. Just make sure you don't mix them up. The insulator bands, this is what these are called. When you put them back on, there is an orientation that says carb side down, and it will be marked on there if you look in your manual. And let's see here, probably some extra other notes of interest. When I was cleaning the carb itself, I really paid special attention on the fuel, where in the fuel valve seat. I cleaned out really careful and made sure that it was nice and shiny inside each one of these. I used a little bit of steel wool on a small flat tip screwdriver and just kind of spun it around in there, and a generous amount of carburetor choke cleaner. And I have a compressed air compressor that I use as well. And for your knowledge, this little guy over here is hyper tough. It's just a Walmart $50 air compressor, oilless. Just plug it in and there you go. So nothing really crazy. I mean, I had, after cleaning the carburetor, it was just, after disassembly, it's probably maybe 2 hours, but I was really thorough. I mean, I took off this here, which in the manual is the, I forget what it's called at the moment. I took this off and sprayed everything out in here. I really took my time and thoroughly wanted to clean, spraying each cylinder with air, carburetor cleaner, air, carburetor cleaner, all through the lines. And here are, for example, on right here on the right here, I use a bit of oops, sorry about that. I use a bit of steel wool and made sure that this was nice and clean as well. Nothing, don't a lot of pressure, of course. You just want to make sure any light residue with the carb cleaner didn't hit. You're just scraping it off, so when it goes in the valve seat, it's gonna go in, and it's gonna operate nice and smooth. You know, just nice and smooth in and out. Anyway, what else could I point out? On the diaphragm, on the needle jet holder, I just used a number 6 screw and screwed that in there, and it just pops right out. I could demonstrate, but I think you get the hint. But just screw a number 6 screw in there, and then with a pair of pliers, it will just pop out, and you can clean the needle jet. And there's an O-ring in there, and you just take a little bit of WD-40 and spray that O-ring. And there's a generous amount of O-rings you can spray with the WD-40 as per service manual. And then, like in the bowl itself, you know, I just mixed with, you know, the carburetor choke cleaner, and just took a toothbrush and just a little bit of carburetor choke cleaner, I should say, and just let it sit. And I took a toothbrush and just scrubbed around in there. Just took my time. Be careful not to get anything up here, because this float chamber gasket will separate, which I will show you, which might be an issue, but we'll find out. This one did have a little bit of separation, so I bought some Permatex gasket sealer dressing, and just lightly put it around this edge, just to, and there's a little crack in there. I didn't want to spend 23 bucks just to get another gasket. If not, I was going to use a number 140 gasket. You can buy them in a pack and just put them in there as well, an O-ring gasket, and you can bend it and put it in there. You can buy them instead of 5s, or instead of 4. Let's see what else for your interest. Again, this is an FYI, like I'm saying, guys and girls. Yeah, on the needle, like, let me see, referred in the needle jet here. I mean, everything here. I also took some steel wool on the and cleaned here, which will go on the float valve. On the float valves, and this will go in the float valve chamber. And light, very light steel wool. I mean, I'm talking super light, and just scruff that up and just blew some compressed air through all that, and soaked these for a long time in the carburetor choke cleaner. Same thing here with this one. Just make sure you see daylight, compressed air as well with carburetor choke cleaner. Just want to make sure everything is clear. And then I drop it back in the jar. Good to go. So pretty much that's where I'm at. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna put the reassemble the carburetor, the individual carburetors. See if I might need a bench sink. I didn't take them apart, so they all open up at the same time. And on the pilot screw side, which is right here, let's see here, where did I orientate? This is your pilot screw right here. I might have to adjust all that once I get on the bike and use the pilot screw adjustment tool. But we'll see. I won't know till the bike's warmed up, and then I'll adjust the pilot screws, and then I'll adjust the throttle intake screw. Like I said, that's just fine tuning. Anyway, I hope this FYI video helps. And the calibers I used are just normal, just easy $2 calibers for Harbor Freight. I took a barcode off a cereal box and just measured this. On the manual it says 13.7 millimeters or 0.54 of an inch. The floats are actually not adjustable, which is, I thought they were. I thought there would be a metal tang on there, but I just wanted, because I don't think, I know I can't get this in between the carbs, and I didn't have a pilot or a float tool, float adjustment tool. I'm going to use this and use this on the carb body to measure the float level. And then I guess if that doesn't spec out, then I might need to get new floats. And if I get gas coming out of the bowls, but I'll tackle that when the time comes. That's why I was very thorough in cleaning everything, so everything should seat right in the needle seat, and everything should operate. Anyway, that's just another tip there when you're adjusting your float level, so you're not trying to finagle with a pilot adjustment and a float tool. Adjust your floats. Well, those are just my little tidbits of information for you, FYI, guys, and hopefully it'll help you. And another way of staying organized, which again, organization is everything, is that on my bench that I'm using, I just labeled, accordingly for carburetor 1, everything's here, 2, everything's there. For carburetor 2, carburetor 3, and carburetor 4. And just, white pieces of masking tape. I did the same thing on the bike. I labeled all the hoses that are routed. Hoses number 5, 6, and 11 as per the manual. And I also made sure there's photos so I can go back and see what this looks like as I get ready to assemble in a couple of videos. If it's of any worth, I might try to upload some of that stuff, and I might even take a video of me putting all that mess together. But we'll go from there. Anyways, that's my FYIs on some of the things on the band screw installation and carburetor cleaning tips. And you guys have a safe motorcycle riding day, and do enjoy your weekend coming up. Right now it's Friday, and it's going to be a good weekend. All right, take care.